What's up, people? How are you doing? My name is Dani and welcome to the renovation of the Landgraab's house. To be honest with you, I was kind of scared of this renovation because from my experience, the bigger the house, the trickier the renovation. On top of that, the shape of this house is completely different from the houses I've renovated before. The other houses had a very simple, straightforward shape, where the second and third floors are the same shape as the first one, or at least close enough. The Landgraab's house, though, has what I like to call the bad Tetris player shape. You know, those people who can't seem to fit the pieces properly and end up with a bunch of little holes in their what? What is that thing called? A wall? A field? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Moving on. Just to be clear, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing for a house to be shaped like that, okay? I mean, if I have to be honest with you, then I have to say I don't love those houses, but I don't hate them either. It's just a personal preference, you know? I'm an old soul that is more into gothic castles and cute vintage cottages than those ultra-modern and urbanistic buildings. And that's probably why I suck at building them. So I knew that I would struggle a lot with this building if I were to change it too much. I mean, if you have been watching my renovation videos, you most likely heard me say before that I don't like to make extreme renovations or makeovers. So I've been keeping the changes to a minimum since day one. However, this time, I was low-key scared of touching the shape of this house. So I started simple. First things first, I made the house smaller. My initial plans were to make it smaller by 1 or 2 tiles and then tighten the space by building a bunch of small rooms. The Landgraabs have a lot of money and riches, so I wanted to have a bunch of different rooms for their hobbies and activities. I wanted to have a gym, I wanted to have a gaming room, maybe an art studio, but then I realized that I could actually fit all of those things on the 3rd floor alone. The 3rd floor was a lot bigger than I expected it to be, and it became a proportional problem, because then I had nothing to put in the empty spaces on the 1st and 2nd floors. I could just delete the 3rd floor, but I felt that would change the shape of the house too much. So the 1st and 2nd floors were the ones paying the price. I took a really good chunk out of the living room. I reduced the size of the kitchen. I also made the patio next to the kitchen smaller by pulling in that random wall on the side of the building. But then I had a new problem. Now the 2 wings of the house were very unbalanced. I fumed for a good hour, trying to think of a solution, and eventually my love for symmetry took over and I built another random wall on the other side of the building. I'm not gonna lie, at first I thought it was weird, but when I came back to the house the next day, it didn't seem that bad anymore, so I kept it. I was pretty much done with the outer shape of the house at this point, so I switched to the floor plan. I didn't make any crazy changes there, everything is pretty much in the same place it was before, except for the bathroom in Malcolm's room. I mean, I think that's Malcolm's room. It could also be a gym, because he had a bunch of gym equipment there, like, what the hell, EA? I had to make sense of that mess, so I turned the bathroom into a gym and then I built a new bathroom, an appropriate sized one, on the other side of his room. Now, regarding the furniture and decoration of the house, I think that was the trickiest part, honestly. I wanted to make something really luxurious because, I mean, it's Nancy Landgraab we are talking about in here, but the really expensive stuff you find in the base game doesn't really work with modern houses. I tried a few different things, but nothing was working. Eventually, I decided to take the emptiness of the original house as inspiration, and I went for a sort of minimalistic type of house. I'm sorry, I'm not happy about it either, but it was the only thing that worked for me. And I tried a lot of stuff, trust me. To be honest with you, while I was decorating the house, I found myself craving some African-inspired decorations. I wanted African tribal patterns, I wanted zebra prints, I wanted wicker baskets, I wanted those dark wooden dolls with very long limbs. I wanted all of that cool stuff. We don't have a lot of that in The Sims 4, do we? I mean, I guess the Decor to the Max kit could work for what I wanted, but that would probably only cover the basics. There's also the Courtyard Oasis kit, but that one is Morocco inspired, and even if it's pretty cool, it's not quite what I had in mind. I was thinking of tribal Africa, you know what I mean? Ooh, now that I think about it, an Egyptian-inspired pack would be pretty cool too. Can you imagine having a wallpaper with Egyptian drawings on it? And a bunch of cat statues? And Egyptian makeup? Well, I mean, EA would probably mess that one up really badly. The makeup in The Sims is not the best, but, well, at least they tried, I guess. Anyway, back to the build. Since I went for a minimalistic style, the inside of the house is pretty simple. I tried to put some color here and there because the place was looking kinda like a hospital. I went for some orange in the living room because that's when I really started to crave those African patterns. And it's not even close to what I wanted, but I'll take it. I mean, I don't really have other options, do I? Finally, the landscaping. I didn't change much in there either. I cut out most of it from the video because it wouldn't be interesting for you to see me do the same things over and over again, but you can see the beginning of it. I used mostly debug stuff, and I also used some of the plants and flowers that were already there, so the landscape turned into this weird mix of debug and catalog objects. Maybe I should have used only debug. I mean, with the money I had left, I could actually go for the catalog stuff instead, but I got lazy. As usual. Sorry about that. So the house will be on my gallery as always. You can find my gallery ID in the description. I also playtested the house and I had to make a couple changes. Apparently the telescope doesn't work indoors, even if it's up on the 3rd frigging floor and in front of a massive window. I tried to move it to a balcony, but it still wouldn't let me use it. Probably because those are covered balconies, so I ended up putting it outside. Which is a terrible idea if you stop to think about it. Rain and wind could very easily destroy the telescope, and I mean, those are not cheap, are they? In Oasis Springs, you would have to deal with all the sand and shit. It's a terrible idea to keep a telescope outside, but I guess EA doesn't put that kind of thought into the game. Which is a pity, but we're already used to that. Well, I guess I said everything. Oh no, wait, I forgot about something. Actually, I forgot 2 things. The first one is that I got my hands on the My First Pet stuff pack since it's free. And I'm also considering getting the cats and dogs expansion so that I can make a proper video about my impressions on the very first pack of this channel. To be honest, cats and dogs were never on my priority list, but EA placed a very tempting trap in front of us and I'm willing to fall for it, honestly. But I'll talk more about that once I get my hands on that pack. It might take a while though, because I'll be busy with a small job at the beginning of next week. I was called to be an extra in a movie that is being shot in my city, and I don't know if I will have the time or the disposition to record and edit the videos. I will try to pre-record over the weekend, but I'm not sure I will get everything ready in time, so if you notice a delay in the uploads, that will be the reason why, okay? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe because I'll be back in a couple days and you don't want to miss a thing. Trust me. See you then.